Have you ever felt like you were doing everything right? Praying, reading the Bible, going to church, yet inside you feel empty, exhausted, disconnected? Like no matter how hard you try, you can't shake the weight on your chest or the fog in your mind. If that resonates with you, you might not just be tired. You could be facing something deeper, a spiritual attack. We often think spiritual warfare is loud, dramatic, or obvious. But the truth is, it's usually subtle, quiet, invisible. It creeps in slowly, through distractions, doubts, discouragement. And suddenly, you find yourself spiritually drained without understanding why. In Ephesians 6:12, the Apostle Paul reminds us, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms." This means what you're feeling may not just be emotional or circumstantial. It could be spiritual. Sometimes spiritual attacks come in the form of intense fear or anxiety that you can't explain. Other times it's the sense that you're stuck, unable to grow in your faith. You begin questioning your purpose. Your prayers feel dry. You feel unworthy, unloved, and unseen. That's how the enemy works, not by destroying you instantly, but by slowly disconnecting you from the presence of God. Let me tell you this. You are not alone in this battle. Even the greatest heroes of the faith walked through dark seasons. David, the man after God's own heart, cried out in Psalm 13:1, "How long, Lord? Will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me?" If you've ever felt like God was silent when you needed him most, you're not crazy. You're not broken. You're human. And you're in the middle of a very real spiritual fight. Look at the life of Joseph. He was given a dream by God, clear, bold, full of promise. But what followed was betrayal, slavery, and years in prison. From the outside, it looked like Joseph's dream had died. But in reality, God was shaping him in the shadows for the destiny ahead. Genesis 39:2 says, "The Lord was with Joseph and he prospered, even in the house of his Egyptian master." That's powerful. Even in a place that looked like defeat, God's presence never left him. And maybe that's exactly where you are right now, in a place that doesn't match the promise. But here's the truth. The enemy attacks what he fears. If you're under attack, it's likely because you're carrying something precious, something powerful, something that threatens the kingdom of darkness. But through it all, he kept going, because he understood that spiritual battles were part of his calling, not a sign of failure, but a mark of divine purpose. 2 Corinthians 4:8-9 describes this beautifully. "We are hard-pressed on every side, but not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair, persecuted, but not abandoned, struck down, but not destroyed." If you're in a season where everything feels heavy, where your passion has faded and your faith feels fragile, don't panic. You're not disqualified. You're being refined, and you're not meant to fight this battle alone. So how do you recognize when you're under attack? When your hunger for God disappears even though you want it back. When relationships start falling apart out of nowhere. When you're overwhelmed by guilt or shame, even after repenting. When confusion replaces clarity and peace feels out of reach. These are not just emotional signs. They are spiritual red flags. But here's the hope. God has not left you defenseless. Ephesians 6 talks about the armor of God, not a metaphorical concept, but a real spiritual strategy. Truth, righteousness, faith, the word, prayer. When you can't see the way, trust the one who sees everything. Because this attack, this season of pressure, is not your end. It might actually be your turning point. Just like Moses in the wilderness, just like Elijah in the cave, just like Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. Before every breakthrough, there is a battle. Before every resurrection, there is a cross. And the same God who parted the Red Sea, who closed the mouths of lions, who walked on water, is fighting for you right now. So don't give up. Don't believe the lie that this is the end. You are being stretched, not broken. Tested, not abandoned. The fire you're walking through will not burn you. It will refine you. And one day you'll look back on this season and say, "God, I didn't understand it then, but now I see you were with me all along." If this message spoke to your heart, leave a comment below. Maybe share what you're going through or just write, "I'm standing in faith." And if you want to stay encouraged on your journey, feel free to subscribe. Not because we're building a platform, but because we're building a community of believers who refuse to give up. You are chosen. You are covered. And no matter what the battle looks like right now, the victory belongs to Jesus. Keep standing. Keep praying. Keep believing. The war is real, but so is your breakthrough.